Hello everyone, this is Joe. I'm one of the 3 people who is running the Kansas City Fall No Ship Math Trade that will be occurring at Meeple-a-thon this year. So I wanted to make a short series of videos to help people who have never participated in a math trade before have an easier time and hopefully remove any roadblocks you might have. This first video is going to go over how to list your games and what the math trade is and what the major rules are. And then I'll make either 1 or 2 more videos going over how to make a want list and what actually happens at the trade itself. So if you got a link from Meeple-a-thon or from Facebook, it should bring you directly to this page here. So this is the main page for the Kansas City Fall No Ship Math Trade. To participate in the trade, you do need to have an account on BoardGameGeek or BGG. That is a free site to make an account on. So your first step, if you haven't made an account already, will be to make an account. You can then go back to this page here, and you'll then be able to start listing your games. In this main page here, it has all the key times for the trade. So you can post your games until the 10th of September, about a month from when I'm making this video. There's then about a 2-week period where you can put in your want lists, which I'll cover in a future video. The results will then be posted, and people have time to discuss the results and if they have any concerns. And then we'll meet up at Meeple-a-thon and actually have the exchange of our games. And we'll have a booth area at Meeple-a-thon, and we'll manage all of that for you and have a secure check-in and check-out process. So, like I mentioned, this main thread has all the rules of the trade. So a math trade in general is very useful because everybody lists their games into this big list, and then a computer algorithm tries to make as many people happy as possible based on their wants. So when we go over want lists, I'll show how you list, but basically your games will only trade if there's a game you want. So this is a risk-free place to list your games. By listing your games, you are committing that if they trade, you will bring them to the trade. But as mentioned, they will only successfully trade for something you clicked you want, which we'll discuss in the next video how you do that. So any game can be listed. Try not to list anything that's too damaged. Or anything that people are unlikely to want, like an old copy of Monopoly or a really beat up game. And there's no limit to how many games you can list. Make sure you describe any damage to the pieces or the box. And then you can also include gift cards to Mission board games. And using one of the links below it, it will show you how to format that if that's something you want to put in the trade. The rest of these rules we'll go over when we discuss the want list. Like I said, this stage is completely risk-free. Nothing will trade from this unless in the want list stage you click a box saying you're willing to trade it for game X. So, in this section, there is links to other videos and other threads that explain different steps of the math trade in more detail. A link to Meeple-a-thon, if that's not something you're familiar with, so that you can purchase your ticket. And then a link to something called the LG, which we'll go over in a second. So to list a game in the math trade, you click on this little plus here. So you can see there's currently 168 items as of me making this video in the math trade. And we have about a month left. So to add an item, you click this plus sign here, it'll bring you to this little screen here. And then for most everything you list, you're going to click on Board Game. This will pop up here, and you can list your game that you're willing to trade. So for me, I'm going to put in a game called Destinies by Lucky Duck. It'll bring up a picture, make sure that that's the correct edition of your game that you're listing. If not, you can go back up here and make sure it's the right edition, or go through the images to make sure you get the right picture. Then in this section, you can go ahead and you can type any relevant details. So in here, I'm going to type good condition, played a few times, and box with minor scuffing to the corners, which on this game is very mild, but I just want people to know this isn't a game that looks completely new, but it looks very close to it. And so this will also subscribe you to this item. We'll talk about how subscribing to the thread in a second. And so if anyone comments on my item asking a question, it will message me up here in Board Game Geek, letting me know someone asked me a question. Sorry, up in here, this little foghorn symbol. So, and now you can see my game is now number 169 in the trade. If you want to subscribe to know when anyone lists anything new in the trade, you can click here and click subscribed. And again, up in here in BGG, you'll get a little notification saying someone has listed more games to the trade so you can look at them. So that's how you list your games. If you want to know any fancier ways to list games and add things like multiple games per listing or listing gift cards, these threads here can show you how to do that. The next thing I want to show you is up here. So this is the main thread. This thread here that I clicked on the link is a discussion thread. So in here, people can ask questions and post comments. So if you're not sure how to do something, me or one of the other trade organizers or one of our more veteran traders will be happy to answer those questions and help you out. And I'm also planning to be available a couple evenings closer to the end of the trade to log on with people and FaceTime with them if that's something they want me to do to show them how to list their games. So this is the second thread that's part of the trade, and again, this one is just for comments or questions. And then if you have a specific game you really want, that link I just clicked on, this is the request list. So you can see here that I really would like to get After the Empire if someone had a copy. And Beat Rat here would really like to get Blue Moon Legends. And so there's currently 17 games in here that people really are hoping that they get in the trade. And so you can post a couple of items here for games you really want. That way, if someone is thinking about trading it but isn't sure, if they see you really want it, they might put it in the trade. So again, this has links back to that discussion thread and then back to the main thread. So I'm going to go back to the main thread. And then lastly, I'm going to go to the place called the Owl G. So we're going to talk a lot more about this when we talk about how to make your want list, but I just want you to know that this exists. This is an independent site from BGG that has the engine that runs the trade that allows us to do this, and it's again free. So you click on here. The first time you click, you may get a warning about the site. It is a safe site and you won't get any viruses from it. Nobody that's used this has before. that I've heard of. So just click under Advanced that yes, you do want to go to the site. The first time you go here, you'll need to log in with your BGG username and get an invitation from the person who runs the site, and he will generally do that within a few hours. If you've listed a game in the math trade, it will show up here under your active math trades. Otherwise, you'll have to look under other active no ship math trades, and it will be in here for people that haven't listed a game. And you can click on the Meeple-a-thon trade here. And next video, I'll go through a little more how to navigate. This just shows you all the people in the trade and how many games they've listed. And like I discussed, next time we'll go through this site in a little more detail and discuss how to actually click on your want lists and figure out what you actually want for your games. Again, let us know if you have any questions in that discussion thread. We're excited for everybody participating, and I'm excited to see everybody at Meeple-a-thon.